Greetings, Tezos Nation. Welcome to another edition of TezTalks Live. I'm Stu from the Tezos Commons. Joining me today are Casson Trenor, ocean conservationist and activist, and Eziraros, generative artist and NFT creator, along with his translator and friend, Wen. Together, Casson and Eziraros have developed Turtle Vision, the philanthropic generative NFT collection dropping right here in the Tezos ecosystem on April 16th. With proceeds going to support ongoing efforts to reduce the scourge of plastic waste in our oceans. On today's stream, we'll be giving away 2 reserve list spots to the upcoming Turtle Vision NFT drop to 2 of our lucky viewers. If you'd like one of those lucky viewers to be you, keep an ear out for a keyword later on during the stream. And of course, if you have any questions for Casson or Easy that you'd like me to ask, please add them in the chat at any time, and we'll get to as many as we can before we wrap up. Hi, Casson and Easy. Where are each of you right now, and how is the weather?
Hi, I'm in Taipei, and it's 1 a.m. It's hot.
Hot and dark.
Yeah, and I may look a little sleepy.
Fair enough.
I am in a hotel room inside the Miami International Airport. I am not sure what the weather's like because I don't have any windows, but I presume it's muggy out. And yeah, this is a fun place to do an interview.
Nothing beats an airport hotel, right?
Nothing, no, but I'm grateful for it. It's loud out there. We're glad to have a quiet space.
Well, we're glad you all took the trouble to join us here today. Casson, to get us started, can you tell us a little bit about your professional background and how you got started on your ocean conservation journey?
Sure, yeah. So I'm a professional ocean conservation activist. I've been working in this space for about 20 years, the bulk of my entire professional career. And I think about that question a lot, to be honest. I think about, why do I do this? Where did it start? And I come up with different answers depending on the time of day and what I'm thinking about. But I think the guts of it are, I grew up on the beach. I grew up in a small town on the beach, and being on the beach and interacting with the ocean was a really important part of my childhood. And unfortunately, as I grew older, there was a population boom in coastal Washington state where I grew up, and a lot of people came and cut the trees down and built new roads and put in new ports and marinas, and that little beach I grew up on pretty much died. And I think that did something to me inside. And yeah, I think I do this work because I don't want any other little kids to lose their beaches.
That's an excellent answer. And Easy, what about yourself? What originally attracted you to the medium of generative art and NFTs?
I started creating generative art when I was in school, and the first come across processing, which was over 15 years ago. But I never continued until NFTs appeared. I saw my friend Aluan constantly promoting NFTs and the generative art platform FXH and on Tezos, which motivated me to start creating generative art again and releasing NFTs.
Very cool.
Okay.
So those journeys, of course, led you both to found Turtle Vision, which is, of course, the reason we're all here today. Can you tell us the origin story of how 2 people from such disparate backgrounds came to collaborate on a project like this?
Easy, you want me to answer that?
Yes.
Okay. I'll give you my perspective. I as a professional activist, I believe that it's important for us to explore all possibilities in search of solutions. Our planet's in real trouble, and we need to find a way to solve it, and we can't afford to not look under every stone for potential ways to do it. I was really interested in generative art just as somebody who's interested in that technology and interested in artistic expression. And I'd been sort of lurking around on FX Hash for a while, and I saw Easy's work, not just the octopuses that he's so well known for, but his subsequent sets that already indicated his value system. Part of that money was going to support marine conservation efforts in Taiwan. And when I saw that, I said, this is a guy who shares values with me. Now, personally, I believe in the power of art to do great environmental work. Art speaks to the heart, not the brain. And I think that's a great pathway to have a communication around the environment. So I just reached out to him and I said, hey, man, like, I love your work. We care about the same stuff. Do you want to do something together? And he was kind enough to entertain me. And here we are.
Now here we are. So for those who might not be familiar just yet, Casson, can you explain what Turtle Vision is and what you're hoping to accomplish with it?
Sure. And I can start that by answering Kelly's comment in the comments there about donating a percentage of the money. So the idea of Turtle Vision is to use generative art to create a scenario that gives the viewer the experience of what it's like to be a sea turtle in the ocean in 2023. Now, sea turtles' primary prey item, one of them, is jellyfish. Unfortunately, they have a very difficult time distinguishing between a jellyfish and a floating plastic bag. And because of that, we're finding more and more sea turtles dead on beaches with their stomachs full of plastic bags. Eziraros and I think that we can use generative code and art to create a situation that helps to reach people around that. So Turtle Vision explores what that might be like, mixing those things together. And then, yes, Kelly, the lion's share of those proceeds is being donated to 5 Gyres, which is a nonprofit group that focuses on creating science and pushing back against ocean plastic around the world.
Very cool. The next question is for Easy. What interests you about ocean conservation, and what made you decide to make this project a priority at this stage of your career?
In fact, I have a daily job that I don't really want to do. There was a time when I felt that writing code was really boring and tiring. But since I started creating generative art again, I have rediscovered the joy of coding. Therefore, for me, I feel the combining creativity and the ocean conservation is the best way to separate from my daily work and combine my interest with society.
Very cool. Casson, as I mentioned off the top, the Turtle Vision NFT drop is just around the corner on April 16th. How much can you tell us about what will be on offer during that drop and what those who participate should expect to see?
It's a generative set of 534 pieces that will be dropped on a 5-step Dutch auction on April 16th at 3 p.m. 3 p.m.
CET?
Well, it's CET, I think. Yeah, 3 p.m. CET. I know it's at 11 a.m. in New York. So I'm trying to do the math in my head. I've never been good with time zones. I'm amazed
that's where you'll be.
That's where I'll be. But yeah, that's basically what we can share right now. If you stick around a little bit longer in this interview, Easy's going to show some little clips and teasers about the art. And it's very difficult for me to describe. All I can say is when I approached Eziraros about this project, I knew he was a very good artist. I did not realize how good he was. So I'm excited for you all to see this.
Very cool. I mean, we can go ahead and do that right now. Like, I'd certainly like to have a look at what this looks like. Do you have anything you can share with us right now to give us an idea of what this looks like?
Okay. Could you see the screen?
There it is. Oh, wow. So in the mix, there are some plastic bags, I assume?
That's right.
Yeah.
So we have generative fields that allow for all sorts of variants here. Species of jellyfish, the ratio of jellyfish to plastic, the bathymetrics, or the depth of it and the color in the background, the way it moves, everything. Because we really want to create this limitless experience, what it's like being a sea turtle and being underwater and not knowing if this is food or if this is something that's much more dangerous than that, while at the same time creating something beautiful. And
Well, I
I
think
think that was the biggest
that's an
challenge.
interesting part of it, where what we're talking about is something pretty awful, and then you've taken the task of making it into obviously beautiful pieces of art, right?
This is the challenge. Art, if it's going to change the world, a lot of times it needs to do more than just be pretty. It needs to poke at you and kindle other emotions and other reactions. So, how do you do that? How do you make something that's beautiful and also makes you sad, or beautiful and also makes you angry? And this was what we needed to do here. We needed to make something that people would be so proud to own and hang on their wall, put in a video screen, but at the same time, something that would galvanize action. It's
Mm,
not just jellyfish. It's jellyfish in 2023, and it's not a good situation out there.
mm. Those are extremely cool. Um, Easy, can you talk a little bit about the generative process and how these works were actually made?
Okay. Specifically, the drawing method generates tens of thousands of points from the beginning. Then I will calculate their position, sizes, and colors step by step from the top of the jellyfish. And finally, project them onto the screen. My previous works were all drawn using P5.js, but since the end of the last year, I have been learning how to use WebGL from my friend Ewan Lin. This is my first 3D work and the first work created entirely using WebGL.
Wow. Um, uh, Casson, I know you touched on this a little bit earlier, but can you tell us? Actually, before we get to that, we have people in the audience already asking: is there a link for people who are interested in participating in the NFT drop?
There will be very soon. As soon as we have the contest winners from this podcast added to our reserve list, we'll be minting on FX Hash. As soon as it's there, I'll post it in my Twitter, as will Easy, and we'll both tag Tezos Commons. So just follow us or follow Commons, and you'll get the link the moment it's available.
Can you share your ats for people who would like to do that and keep up on what's going on?
Yep. I'm just at Casson Trenor, and Eziraros is a little bit more complicated to say, but it's at S underscore R underscore R underscore Z underscore. I still don't know why you did that.
He wasn't anticipating it being read out live on the air, I guess.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's ever had to do that before.
It's because I don't want to let my partners of my daily work know I am doing NFTs.
Okay. So, Casson, can you, again, you did touch on this already, but can you tell us about exactly how the proceeds from this NFT drop will be used?
Mm-hmm. So the largest share of the proceeds goes to Five Gyres, and Five Gyres is an ocean plastics NGO. They've been active since 2005. They were one of the first NGOs to ever actually go out to the oceanic gyres, to these big, slow moving whirlpools that comprise so much of the ocean and that collect so much of the plastic. We really didn't know much about this 15, 20 years ago, but thanks to Five Gyres and other groups like them, now we know a lot more about the reality and the gravity of the ocean plastics problem. So we're super excited and very proud to have a chance to help a little bit here and to send them some support. The other thing that I'm really excited about with Five Gyres is they are a very crypto forward NGO. And that can be harder to find than you might think. There's a lot of trepidation in the nonprofit sector around getting involved in this stuff. Some groups just take crypto donations and turn it into fiat and do their thing. Five Gyres actually has an active presence on the blockchain and is currently investigating how to use it to augment and multiply their solutions. So we're excited to be a part of supporting that.
That's very cool. And as I mentioned earlier, these stunning NFTs that we're looking at right now will be released on April 16th. The drop is already generating a fair bit of buzz, and we have, courtesy of our friends from Turtle Vision, a pair of reserve list spots to give away to help 2 of our viewers get to the front of the line on purchasing the works on offer. If any of our live stream viewers would like the chance to win one of these highly coveted reserve list spots, now is your chance. Just enter the key phrase !Turtle Vision into the live stream chat, and Nightbot will randomly select today's winners, who we'll announce before the end of the stream. Now, as I understand it, neither of you is particularly new to Tezos. In fact, you both have well-established roots here in the Tezos ecosystem. Easy as an artist minting and selling works on FX Hash, and Casson as something of an early adopter. Can each of you speak a little bit about how you got involved with Tezos and what that experience has been like?
Casson, you first.
Sure. Yeah. I've been involved in this ecosystem for better or for worse since the ICO. I have been on this crazy ride since 2017, and through all the ups and downs and all the craziness. And I've done a lot of work in terms of creating connections between Web3 and real world impact on many other blockchains. And I've been waiting for the chance to come and do something here on Tezos. I'm very excited that we're finally doing this and sort of get to bring it back home a little bit.
Right on. So you're a Tezos OG.
Like I said, for better or for worse, this has been a journey that we've all shared, and I'm glad we've made it this far. And I'm super proud of this community and what we're up to today.
Right on. How about you, Izzy?
At first, I didn't know which platforms I could use to publish generative artwork until my friend Alan introduced FXH to me. The active artist community amazed me, with several works being republished every day, and the exchange between artists was equal. Publishing works did not require anyone's permission, so I started publish my work on FXH. Until later, I never published my work on the other chains, mainly because I knew the Tezos is a particularly energy saving chain. I think this is the reason I use Tezos.
Very cool. Why did you, for either of you, why did you feel like Tezos was the right blockchain and ecosystem for a project like Turtle Vision?
Easy, you want me to take it?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. I think that there are a few different reasons here. I mean, for me, honestly, one of the biggest reasons was this is where generative art has a very special home. There's something very different about the community around the generative art scene on Tezos than on many of the other blockchains, and not better or worse, but a different way of appreciating art, looking at something differently and looking for a different level of fineness and value. And Turtle Vision is not a normal NFT. It's a very different and sort of challenging piece for a lot of viewers and a lot of conventional collectors. And we wanted to bring it to a place, that shared values with us, and a community that really actively promoted sustainability, like Easy said, but also a community that was willing to really take a risk with us in terms of what art can be and what it can be about. And we're very happy with how things have come together.
Right on. So Tezos, of course, has become kind of an important landing spot for environmentally conscious artists because of Tezos's low environmental footprint. Why do you think this aspect of Tezos in particular is so appealing to the digital art community?
For me, NFTs in the art category are almost useless. So if I were to publish them on a chain, that would be more eco-friendly. So I would not find it worth it and would ask why not on Tezos.
Okay.
Yeah, I think a lot of people in this space share values around wanting to use art to make the world a better place. And at the end of the day, you want to look for something that's harmonious with the values of your project. It doesn't make a lot of sense to come and say, yeah, I care about the environment. I want to sell this piece and raise a bunch of money. And then you do it on a chain that's, burning lots of fossil fuels. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Every little action that we take makes a difference.
For sure.
Who's that? Easy? You have to say the cat's name.
Yeah,
now,
we need to know the cat's name.
His name is Ping Pong.
Ping Pong. Welcome to TezTalks, Ping Pong. I honestly thought you had a baby there.
No.
Turns out it was a cat. So we've been seeing a lot more philanthropic blockchain efforts here in the Tezos ecosystem and also across the blockchain world recently. What is it about this technology that makes it a good fit for fundraising efforts like Turtle Vision?
Oh, wow. I have so many answers to this question. This is literally where I exist in my professional life is wrestling with exactly
We've got
this.
plenty of time, so go for it.
I think there's a couple really big pieces that I'll point at. The first is that everything else isn't working. Like we have a huge problem, and clearly we're not stopping it. So I think there's a real level of interest and desperation in just exploring everything new that comes along and seeing if maybe it can help, because we need help, right? So I think there's a lot of that, just sort of enthusiasm around seeing if this is really the tool that we need or a tool that we need. But I think there's another piece of it too, that the fundamentals of blockchain allow for philanthropy to act differently. It allows for a greater level of reliability through trustlessness in terms of mutual dependency and funding, and a lot of other ways of coalition building and community building that really wasn't nearly as easy or as simple before Web3 came along. So I think we're still trying to figure out exactly how this is going to fit together, but my guess is we're going to see this is just the tip of the iceberg. Like philanthropy in Web3 is about to explode.
Absolutely. You touched on something a little bit earlier, Casson, that I'd like to follow up a little bit. So you talked about sort of building a bridge between Web3 and real world impact. And I'm wondering if maybe you could expand on what part a project like Turtle Vision can play in building that bridge particularly on important issues like ocean conservation.
I think it happens on two levels, right? The most basic and most visible level is that something like Turtle Vision creates a really enjoyable, potentially valuable or high reward way to support a positive cause, right? You get to buy some really nice art. Maybe your art goes up in value. Maybe you make some money. Maybe you have a nice piece of art to put in your object screen, what have you. But all of that is sort of window dressing on the fact that you've just made those people on the ground that are working so hard to push back on ocean plastic, you've made their lives a little bit easier. You've given them a little bit more work. So that's the more visible part. But I think the other part is actually the more interesting one, which is the development of the sort of infrastructure within the community. Like, we're not just building a bridge for a one-time use. Every time a project like Turtle Vision comes along, we're doubling down on the concept that Web3 can do good. And I think we as a Web3 community, we really need to take that seriously, because as we all know, there's a lot of stories out there about how Web3 is not doing good and how there's, scandal this and collapse of that. Yeah. And so we wonder why people are nervous. We wonder why we can't find groups to work with. We know we're good people, but that's not the stories that are getting out there. So yeah, Turtle Vision, it's an opportunity to help against ocean plastic, but it's also an opportunity to make another notch on this post saying, look at all the good things Web3 has done. Stop coming at us with this idea that it's a bunch of scammers, because look, I think that's really important.
It is extremely important, and I completely agree. Easy, I'm curious, what is the experience of aligning generative art with a cause like ocean conservation being like for you? Do you feel like there's a natural fit between those two things?
Actually, I'm not sure how much help generative art can bring to the environment. But as I said before, I think art-related NFTs, aside from their collectible value, have no practical use. So combining them with environmental restoration work is a way for me to feel more justified in what I do.
That totally makes sense. So for either of you, what I assume you talk to people that you encounter about what you're working on here. And I'm wondering, when in those conversations with the people in your life, the people you encounter, the people you talk to about this, what's the question that you get asked the most frequently about this project, and how do you answer it?
The question I'm most frequently asked is regarding technical issues, as they are very different from the technology I previously used. I always say, when is my mentor in the WebGL world?
I think the question that I get asked, I think the question I get asked the most is, how can you work in Web3 or use blockchain and also be an environmentalist? And I think that this is a question that comes from a level of ignorance and sort of a familiarity with old tech, and a lot of conflation between old proof of work issues around Bitcoin and modern, other approaches to consensus in Web3. But just because I think that the question maybe is a little uninformed sometimes, I think it's still very, very important, because we need to address that question. We need to help people understand that working in Web3 and being an environmentalist are not mutually exclusive. As a matter of fact, there are great ways to combine those two things for a really powerful effect. So I can't tell you how many times I've had this discussion, but I'm always grateful for the chance to talk to somebody about it, because I think it's an important conversation.
100%. And in my role, sort of in a marketing role in the space, like, I think the reason I always ask people that is we need to know what those questions are, because we do need to address them. We can't shy away from them, even if they are difficult questions, right? We have to have some kind of a message for the people who are wondering those things, because most people do, and I count myself among them, most people do not understand the deep technical level of this stuff. Their questions are about practicalities, right?
And
Go ahead. Sorry.
That has to be where we have the discussion. We can't expect the rest of the world that's not working in Web3 and not making their money in Web3, and has many other things going on. We can't expect the rest of the world to have the time to educate themselves on all the deep rabbit holes of how this technology works. We need to be able to have these conversations at a level where people can learn about each other and understand that we're not working at cross purposes.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. What's next for the Turtle Vision team? Do you have any other exciting rollouts or announcements in the works?
We're both waiting for the other one to speak. I think we have some ideas. We have some next steps, but right now we're really very focused on this project and the upcoming mint. We want to make sure that we have everything set and in a row. As we mentioned earlier, I'm gonna be in New York for NFT NYC. I want to make sure that everything that we can do is ready and prepared, because we're very proud of this, and we want to create as much support as possible for Five Gyres, both to support them, but also to really nail this story and really prove that we can be a small part of Web3 doing good in this cool and innovative way.
Very cool. So, Casson, I understand you will be at next week's Tezos NFT Summit in New York.
That's correct.
I'm
I'm very
looking forward to
excited.
meeting you in person at that event.
Yeah.
I'd just like to encourage any of our viewers who will be in the New York area to come check out the Tezos NFT Summit. You can find the details at tezos.com/NFT-summit. And that event will be taking place next week. We're just coming to the end here, and before we close off, I need to announce the winners of the reserve list spots for the upcoming Turtle Vision drop on April 16th that we're giving away today. Today's winners are Yi Qian Lin, and the other one, I've been sent through a series of characters that I cannot read. I don't know if you can see those, anyone else, but please, if you can, read them out.
罗世东
That's the
罗
other
世东
one. Okay. Yi Qian Lin and
罗
again,
世东
congratulations to you both.
Congratulations, both of you.
To claim your prize, just email us at social@tezoscommons.org. We will request a screenshot for verification that you're the account owner and get your shiny new reserve list spots over to you just as quick as we can. For those who missed out today, we remind you there are awesome giveaways to be found frequently here on the TezTalks live stream, so keep tuning in. If you'd like to get in touch with us, our social media contacts can be found at tezoscommons.org/TezTalks, and we'd love to hear from you. Casson and Eziraros, thanks so much for joining us today. It's always awesome to speak to the folks tackling important real-world problems through creative efforts like this here in the Tezos ecosystem. Is there anything else that you would like to mention or plug before we sign off here?
Do you have anything?
No?
I guess I just would like to say thank you to all of the people in the Tezos ecosystem that have been so supportive of this project. Certainly to Natasha and David and Ivan at TZ APAC, who have been incredibly helpful. And then obviously Stu and William, thank you so much for having us here. To everybody at the foundation, to our friends at FX Hash, to Adam at Tender.art. This is a wonderful community. We would not be here if not for all of you. And I mean that in a lot of different ways. So thank you so much. I guess if I'm plugging anything, I'm plugging the Tezos community.
And again, for anyone wanting to keep updated on your progress and keep updated on when the drop is happening and how they can get involved, the best place for them to do that is by following you on Twitter, correct?
Following us both on Twitter, I'm at Casson Trenor, and Easy is at that fun thing with underscores. Hopefully, we'll put both of those in the chat again. And yeah, we're super excited to have you all on this journey with us.
Fabulous. Thanks, everybody. To everyone out there in Tezos land, thanks for joining us on the TezTalks live stream. I'm Stu from the Tezos Commons, and our awesome guests have been Casson Trenor and Eziraros, co-founders of Turtle Vision. Now let's go clean up our oceans.